Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing well, right? As we're right in the middle of spring and getting ready for what appears to be a hot summer. Don't know where everybody is at, but I know in Texas, summer is already upon us because it was like 97 degrees just a few days ago. So if that's you too, hang in there. But it's looking like we're gonna have a hot summer. Kind of had a hot winter too, so warmer winter, I should say it that way. Okay, so we are right smack in the middle of a three-part series that I'm calling How to Deal with the Stress of Change. Now, I brought this up on the last talk that I did where I mentioned this was something that I actually did a talk on for a different organization. And so I thought I would shorten it, condense it, put it in my YouTube video because I feel like it's so important and it's something that's needed for a lot of us right now, right? Many of us, I'm going to say all of us. I often, even when I'm teaching, I tell my students that rarely is there something where you can say like all people, right? But all people go through change. That is something that every last one of us will deal with. I will say most, if the majority, 99% of people deal with stress in some capacity. There's good stress, there's bad stress, there's good change, there's bad change. And so all of those together, we often see we have to learn how to deal with the stress of change. So on part one, I talked about evaluating. There's so much you have to evaluate, your thought process and, how you are managing and all of that. And if you don't take the time to evaluate, it's going to make the change and then the stress that comes along with that much more difficult to navigate. So the second E, there's 3 E's in this series. So we're going to talk about eliminating. I think they're all important. This might be the most important. I'll let you come to that decision on your own, but eliminating, definitely important, but I will say it's probably the most challenging as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2 specific areas of where I feel like you need to eliminate when specifically you are dealing with the stress of change, right? So I'm right smack in the middle of a move. If I moved my camera, you could probably see boxes that like right there is the corner of a box in my office. Is trying to keep it condensed so you don't see the mess in here. But it was a last minute, unexpected, kind of thrown upon me move, right? That I was not planning on doing for a while. And so it's kind of thrown me for a loop. There are worse things, yes, 100%, but trying to navigate that with, teaching full time and single parenting it and, everything else in life. Sometimes I feel a little stressed. I do, guys, and so I'm trying to manage and, trying to do all the things that I teach other people to do, right? I've had to evaluate, changing my perspective and not necessarily viewing it as something that's bad. God has done so much in my life and I can look back and see where he was kind of, navigating me, if you will. And I don't think this is any different and there's a bigger purpose and reason. And it may not make sense to me now. It'll probably make sense to me later, but nonetheless, I've spent some time evaluating. So that's the first E. So today we're talking about eliminating, and there's 2 areas where we're going to focus on. First of all, boundaries. I can do a whole probably 5-part series just on boundaries alone. Maybe I will. I don't know, because boundaries are so needed, but they are so difficult to implement for many of us. Some people, maybe not so much, but for many of us, I was a person who had a hard time implementing boundaries. I'm better at it, maybe not perfect at it, but I'm definitely better at it. Gained some wisdom and experience by going through certain things. And so I've seen the benefits, which keeps me in a space of making sure I constantly keep up boundaries. Okay. And then there's a phrase from a pastor that I listen to. I cannot take credit for it. It is not mine whatsoever. But there's a pastor I listened to by the name of Darius Daniels, and he wrote a wonderful book called Relational Intelligence. And there's just this one line, this one concept that he has that I absolutely love, and it's called putting people in their place. So I'm going to go through this really fast and just some nuggets that you can take with you, that you can refer back to that are really easy to hold on to. So boundaries with people, guys. Why? Well, let's go backwards. Okay. We'll get to people in just a second. Okay. Let me explain to you why boundaries are so important. Okay. Boundaries are not for other people. They are for you. okay, in the sense that I'm talking about, okay? Yes, it's kind of works both ways where when you put up boundaries, it's going to impact other people, but boundaries say what I'm not going to do, okay? And guess what? Every one of us has a right to say what we're not going to do, right? No, I learned is a full sentence. And it doesn't have to be said in a rude way or anything like that. But no, I can't do that today. Sorry, but maybe I'll try next time. It's a full sentence, and that should be okay, right? In the sense of, if you are like, I used to be like a people pleaser and, having a hard time, telling people no in a way that they were taking advantage of me. That was hard. Not so much now. I'm kind of in the space where I want somebody to ask me a question. I don't know if I should admit that out loud, but, because I've learned that it's okay to say no. And then, if I can't do it at the moment, if it's something that is, where somebody's taking advantage of me or something like that, then, it's okay for me to put up those boundaries. Okay. Especially if it's in a sense of somebody taking advantage of you. Okay. So understand that no is a full sentence. When you are learning how to put up boundaries, guys, be kind to yourself along the way. Nobody gets this right off the bat. I haven't. It's taken me some years to figure out, I can do this, and it's for my mental health. It's for my physical health. It's for all of those things. And at the end of the day, I am a better version of myself when I put up boundaries. Now, let's get to the last one, putting people in your place. So I highly recommend his book if you have not read it. We often know the phrase, put somebody in their place in a negative way. Basically, it's that sometimes we have people in the wrong position in our life, right? Meaning we have somebody who should be a little bit further away because maybe they're not a safe person. Maybe they got some toxic qualities. They're not the worst person, but every time you get around them, you feel tired and drained and their negativity is just too much, right? But yet they are calling us every single day and they are dumping on us every single day. It might be time to put that person in their place on the outside and not necessarily have them so close to you. That's the whole concept, right? And it's more of a mental check, right? You don't have to let people know you're putting them in the place or you're changing positions for them. You don't have to say, you know what, you've been close to me, but now, you're toxic. I need to put you there, because that is going to bring on a whole nother set of problems that you don't necessarily want to deal with. But really, when you are dealing with change and the stress of change, now is not the time in my life when I'm dealing with a move and finishing up a semester and all that comes with that I have the wrong people close to me. I might bring them back in a little while, right? But it's important that I have the right people by me at the right time in my life. Otherwise, we end up back at square one, and we're just kind of still doing the same things that stress us out. So I hope there's something that's in there. I can go on and on about this, but I try to keep these videos as short and succinct as possible. So y'all know, I always say if it helps one person, then I've done my job. So I hope that's something that maybe somebody needed to hear today. I hope you have a wonderful week or weekend, and I will see y'all on the next video.